more, so we will see what it is about. Okay, so if you click here and edit, you'll see that there is this formula. Okay. Now we will spend much more time going deeper into these formulas later, but right now I want you to understand one thing. Now we are now computing here in this dimension the ratio. You click on the triangle here and select edit. Okay. Now we are computing the ratio of profit to sale, which is simply profit divided by sales. Well, where do we have sum of profit divided by sum of sales? And the reason for that is if you type just profit divided by sales, then each and every record, okay, the profit ratio will be computed, okay, for each record. Okay. Then when you do the aggregation, okay, like if you remember last time we looked at a scatter plot where we did a scatter plot of profit and sales, we had only 1 point, because at that level it simply adds up all the sales, adds up all the profit and plots 1 point. And when you bring in more dimensions into the visualization, like when you brought in product category or department, then that was disaggregated into 3 points. So in visualizations, you want to be able to do that. You want to be able to compute profit ratio, okay, for these diced up parts of your data set for each department, for each product category, and so on. Okay, if you omit the sum, if you do profit divided by sales, then you will simply add, when you bring that variable in, it will just add all the ratios, and that will be wrong. It will give you wrong answers, because what you want is for a department, you want to sum all the sales and sum all the profit. Then when you divide the sum of the profit by sum of the sales, then you will have the profit margin for that department. Instead, if you take for the department each product or each sales and compute the ratios and add them up, you get a different answer. So it's like the sum divided by the sum is different from the individual ratios summed up. Can you see what I mean? So that is the reason why you need to, so you have to determine, you have to think, what do I want? I want the summarizations to be able to be, for us to be able to dissect based on the dimensions and compute the ratios. Then you need to use the sum. So the aggregation is done and then the ratio is computed. Okay, so that is one variable. And then here the Boolean variable, let's look at how the Boolean variable is constructed. Okay, go to edit. So now you see, again we have that sum. Okay. Sum of profit divided by sum of sales, that's your profit ratio, right, is less than 0.25. So that is a condition. Okay, now we don't have an if function here. We could use an if function, but that's not necessary. So now you have a condition. Now if the condition is true, a value of 1 will be assigned. If the condition is false, the value of 0 will be assigned. But because of the sum in front of the variable names, you know that this is going to be an aggregated value based on the dimensions we use. If you don't use any dimensions at all in the visualization, then it will be just one value adding up all of the sales and all of the profit. But if you dissect it based on a dimension, then the aggregations will be based on those dimension values. Okay, so these are the two, and again we will look at more examples later on when we actually get into the section of calculated fields. So there is a section for calculated fields. We will look at that at that time. But right now, let's go ahead and use these variables. Okay, product line and sales. So product, now I think we have to be in that one. Product, don't have product line here, product type I guess. Let's go product type. Yeah, product type and sales in columns. Okay, and state. So now we have for each product type, okay, and we have the states and we have sales. So now if you move product profit ratio of less than 25% into the color shelf, okay, now you see that within sales, okay, all the states where the profit is less than 25%. So the dissecting is now happening in two levels. So for each product type and each state. Okay. So the records are sorted in that fashion, and for each state and each product type, those records are added up. All the sales are added up, all the profits are added up, and then you find the ratio. And if that ratio is less than 25%, then the orange color is used, otherwise gray is used. Okay. Now we can sort this by sales. Well, before that, let's add a total. Okay. Row grand totals, so that would be the grand total of sales. Okay. And we can then sort the states. Okay, you can sort the states by alphabetical order or data source, but what we want to do is to sort by sum of sales. Okay, and you can, before you click OK, you can apply and see whether that's what you want. Okay, well, we want descending order, the top sales to go to the top and the smallest one goes to the bottom. Okay, so now it is done by the grand total. So now we have this.
Where was sort?
You want to sort the states.
Right.
So click the triangle and select sort, and then you make your selection. Okay. Now if you hover over each of these bars and you see that you get the values of the dimension meshes that are already in the visualization. So we have the product type, so product type is shown. We have state, so state shows up. We have sales in the visualization, so sales shows up. And then whether profit is less than 25% or not is in the color tab, so that also shows up. But what if you want some more information to show up, but you don't want to use those in the visualization? You don't want to have another size or color or whatever for, say, profit ratio. So suppose you want to be able to see the profit ratio when you hover, but you don't want to use profit ratio in any visualization. Okay. So in that case, you take the profit ratio and drop it into tooltip, and now that also will show up. So profit ratio shows up because it's in tooltip. So this, when you hover, what shows up is referred to as tooltip.